What is hexagram? Hexagram in Chinese words is gua. Gua means hanger. In our previous video, we learned that there are 8 major images hanging in our universe. They are sky, ground, thunder, wind, water, fire, lake and mountain. However, only 8 images are not well enough to represent the multiplicity of the world in which we are living. Therefore, Book of Changes combines the 8 trigrams with one another, whereby a total of 64 images were obtained. As a human being, what 64 hexagrams means to us? What is the purpose of 64 hexagrams? Imagine we are in a museum with 64 paintings exhibited around us. As a spectator, we can easily spot any blemish or flaw in any of these paintings. But if we are inside the painting, we cannot see things as clearly as an outsider. Sometimes, we feel lost in our lives. We feel miserable and confused. We don't know our direction, because we are inside the painting. This is the moment when the Book of Change may help. It serves as a life manual. Whenever we are in doubt, we can go through the manual, find a relevant hexagram that applies to our situation. Then, we can use an outsider's eyes to see an image that an insider is blind to. This life manual allows us to open up our eyes at a wider angle. To what extent can a hexagram cover? This picture may give you some insight. A hexagram is identical to a cube, which contains 6 surfaces. Top yao signify heaven, while bottom yao signify earth. Second yao signify the north. Third yao signify the east. Fourth yao signify the west. Fifth yao signify the south. Thus, a 2D hexagram can be viewed as a 3D cube, which contains 6 surfaces. And this diagram gives you a further insight into how the ancient Chinese perceived space and time. The outer circle is the concept of time, while the inner square is the concept of space. Thus, 64 hexagrams in the inner square represent the space we are living in. How about time? 64 hexagrams in the outer circle represent the time we have been through and yet to come. Since this is a huge subject, I will try to explain it in more detail in my later video. So, up until now, at least you have had an idea about hexagram in terms of time and space. That's why Book of Change said hexagram can tell story in a 360-degree angles of space. It also tells story in a 360-degree angles of times. Time moves from bottom to top when we read a hexagram. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow is yet to come. So, in the Book of Change, the term going means from past to future. The term coming means from the future to the past. That's why, according to Confucius, our holy saga, if we can read a hexagram, we know the past, present, and future. 64 hexagrams covers every aspect of life. Now, let's start our journey to explore these 64 hexagrams. First, we need to recall what we learned in our previous video about the prenatal 8 trigrams. The Book of Change says, heaven and earth locate their positions. We all noticed that the sky and ground are the most significant natural images. If we combine these 2 images together, it forms either the hexagram boom or bust. Apparently, boom represents something good, prosperous, and flourishing. Bust represents something bad, recession and decline. If the lower image is earth and the upper image is heaven, it forms a hexagram bust. If the lower image is heaven and the upper image is earth, it forms a hexagram boom. I guess whoever is a beginner to the Book of Changes will raise a question. Why do the sky and ground turn upside down is a sign of a boom? Doesn't it look abnormal? Why boom? Book of Changes concerned the term interaction. Only when yin and yang interact with each other can a myriad of things come into existence. In the Book of Change, energy of yang is moving upward and the energy of yin is moving downward. Look at the hexagram boom. Its lower section, also known as the lower trigram or inner trigram, is heaven. All 3 yang yaos have their energy moving upward. while the upper section, also known as the upper trigram or outer trigram, is Earth. Their energy movements are all moving downward. In this case, heaven and earth interact, which allows all living things to live and boom. The Book of Change names this hexagram boom. On the other hand, if heaven is on top and the ground is at the bottom, then heaven and earth have zero interaction. All living things will suffer from the recession. The Book of Changes named this hexagram bust. Boom and bust can apply to different things. It can apply in a relationship. If husband and wife are in a cold war, they don't communicate with each other, I guess divorce will be the most likely outcome. This is an image of bust. Boom and bust can also apply to a company. If the top management can get off their high horse, be supportive and approachable, willing to hear their employee's voice, while on the employee side, they can input their valuable thoughts and opinions on the top management's business decisions. This two-way communication usually leads to a successful business. An image of boom can be seen. Up until now, I guess you might have acquired the basic concept of hexagrams. So, we go a bit further. Each hexagram is made up of 6 yaos. Yao can either be yang or yin. In the Book of Change, there is a special way to address yang yao and yin yao. 9 represent yang yao. 6 represent yin yao. Why? Flash back to the river map, the numbering system that the entire Book of Change is based on. Still remember what is the developing numbers? They are 1 to 5. Odd number represent yang, even number represent yin. 1 plus 3 plus 5 equal 9. Thus, 9 represent yang yao. 2 plus 4 equals 6. Thus, 6 represent yin yao. How do we address yin yao and yang yao in a hexagram? Let's take hexagram boom as an example. Always start from the bottom. The first yao is called the initial 9. Then, second 9. Third 9. Fourth 6. Fifth 6. Top 6. Now, you know how the Book of Change addresses different yao in a hexagram. Let's continue our lesson. The Book of Change says, mountain lake connecting. Thunder wind diminish each other. In our previous video, we already learned that mountain is interpreted as a younger son, and lake is a younger daughter. What kind of image does it form if these two images are combined? It forms hexagram sensation. Why? When a young boy meets a young girl, what can you imagine? If a boy is in the lower section and a girl is in the upper section, male forces are moving upward and female forces are moving downward. Their interaction generates sensation. But if they do not interact, it forms a hexagram loss. So, the combination of Jen and Sund forms this 2 hexagrams. Sensation and loss. Put it in a simple way, hexagrams are all about a combination of 2 images and whether interaction is occurring. When you see an image of a young boy and girl, what comes to your mind? We see passionate, impulsive, enthusiastic, occasionally naive, and mistake. As time flies, young boys and girls are growing up. Young sons become elder sons, while young daughters become elder daughters. In terms of 8 trigram, mountain turns to thunder. Lake turns to wind. You can refer to my previous video if you want to know why thunder signifies elder son and wind signifies elder daughter. Book of Changes says, thunder wind diminish each other. If you see these 2 images, what components pop up in your mind? Mature, stable, and patient. Something very different to a young couple. Do you agree? So, when the image showing that the elder son is in the upper section while the elder daughter is in the lower section, what does it imply? Husband is responsible for the external business, while wife is responsible for the internal duties. Ancient Chinese thought this was the norm for how a harmonious family should be conducted and how to keep a long-lasting relationship. Book of Changes named this hexagram long-lasting. If positions are swapped, male force interacts with female force, and this is the moment we can see the image of gain. Book of Change used the image of an old couple to describe something long-lasting and beneficial. The image of a young couple is used to describe sensation and loss. Somehow, we see some interrelated elements among these four hexagrams. Gain and loss, long-lasting and sensation. There are special relationship between them. In the Book of Change, there are two common approaches to interpreting hexagrams: the reverse method and the fault method. If sensation reverse, it turns to long-lasting. If long-lasting reverse, it turns to sensation. If loss reverse, it turns to gain. If gain reverse, it turns to loss. The relationship between these two hexagrams is known as reverse hexagram. It demonstrates the dual nature of the universe. By using the reverse method, we know that every matter is the two sides of the same coin. The other approach is named fault method. What is fault? When yang turn to yin, or yin turn to yang. Let's take sensation as an example. If all 6 yaos changed. For example, if the initial 6 changed to initial 9, second 6 changed to second 9, third 9 changed to third 6, fourth 9 changed to fourth 6, fifth 9 changed to fifth 6, top 6 changed to top 9. Sensation will turn to loss. Loss will turn to sensation. Long-lasting will turn to gain. Gain will turn to long-lasting. The underlying philosophy behind the fault hexagram explains that everything happens for a reason. What kind of seed you plant will determine what kind of fruit you harvest. By using the reverse method and fault method, we are able to examine a subject in all aspects. Book of Changes says water lives in a waterway, fire lives in a fireway. Apparently, it is common sense that water moves downwards, and fire moves upwards. So, if water is in the upper section while fire is in the lower section, is this a good sign because they are interacting with each other? Yes, this is the perfect hexagram named complete. Interaction is present in this hexagram. Another good sign is about place. What is place? The Book of Changes concerned the theme of position. In a hexagram complete, all 6 yaos are in the right position. What does right position mean? Yang yao in yang place. Yin yao in yin place. Initial 9 is in the right position. Second 6 is in the right position. Third 9 is in the right position. Fourth 6 is in the right position. Fifth 9 is in the right position. Still remember 9-5 Majesty? It is the title that refers to the king. The 5th position is the most prestigious place. Yang Yao is in the right place and in the most prestigious position. It is a very good sign. Lastly, top 6 is also in the right position. All 6 yaos are in the right position. Furthermore, each yao got a right partner too. What does right partner mean? This is the theory of opposites attracting. Just like a boy is attracted by a girl. Yang is attracted by yin. And yin is attracted by yang. In the Book of Change terminology, it's named response. Initial 9 response to fourth 6. Second 6 response to fifth 9. Third 9 response to top 6. Hexagram complete is the best hexagram among the 64 hexagrams as it attained perfection in terms of interaction, positioning, and responsiveness. Just now, we learned the reverse method and fault method. Let's exercise it now. If complete reverse, we got incomplete. If complete fault, we also get incomplete. Both reverse and fault methods produce an equivalent hexagram. Not every hexagram has this capability. There must be some special message the Book of Change wants to tell us. Some big secret? What do you think? Let's examine the differences between complete and incomplete before we make our own comments. In incomplete, water is in the lower section while fire is in the upper section. No interaction can be seen. All yaos are in the wrong position. Except one good thing. All yao got response from their correspondent partner. So the situation is not that bad, right? Hexagrams complete and incomplete reveal the perpetual cycle of the moon. We don't always see a full moon every time when we look up at the sky. Full moons happen only once in every 30 days. This is the moment of perfection. Just like everything is perfectly good. Then, full moon is waning. Perfection soon turns to imperfection. New moon is waxing. After 30 days, we see the full moon again. Lifespan can be broken into stages. Cycle after cycle. When one cycle is completed, another cycle begins. Good times don't last long, and bad times don't stay forever. Just when the caterpillar thought its world was over, it turned into a butterfly. These tables give us a clear guide for searching the relevant hexagrams. The top row are the 8 primary trigrams for the upper section of the hexagram, while the right column are the 8 primary trigrams for the lower section of the hexagram. These are the hexagrams that this video has covered. They form a diagonal line. Don't you think it contains some implications? Just have a look at this genetic code table. I don't know science, but I do know there are similarities between the genetic code and the hexagram. Both contain 64 possibilities derived from the binary numbers 0 and 1. The creature is all about 0 and 1. Yin and yang. Perhaps mastering hexagrams can help us decode DNA and the secret of our universe. I hope you like my video. Today in our 1-minute writing sessions, we learn character number 6. Hexagram is made up of 6 yaos. Yao can either be yin or yang. They are the secret code of the universe. In the Chinese character 6, you can find this 2 simple code. 1 dot is yang. 2 dots are yin. Just like a switch. On and off, on and off, on and off. Life is all about yin and yang, complete and incomplete.